Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today I'm going to try and repair this Pulsar Quartz watch. Now this was given to me by a friend of mine. He's had it for many years and recently it stopped working, and he said there was a few other things that was wrong with it as well. So basically the time itself is no longer working, and as well as that the date doesn't change over, even though it does when you turn it here. It doesn't when it gets to midnight. And also the chronograph thing here is off center. Now I've had this for a couple of weeks before I've taken it apart, and basically the time does work, so the quartz side of it is okay, but the actual main thing stops. So what I did is, this bottom one here is for an alarm, but you can also set it for the time, and it is actually keeping, the bottom one now is keeping perfect time, because if you have a look you can see it's around about 5 to 12, and you see it's around 5 to 12 here. So the watch itself is working, but what happens is, you can see at the moment it's ticking twice, so that means the battery's going flat. But what will happen, maybe after 2 hours it will stop, and then you'll have to kind of pull the crown out, give it a wiggle, and then it will start working again. Now he did tell me that for the last few years it's had an undersized battery in it, but so the battery was put in, it was undersized, but yet everything still worked fine. Then that battery went flat, he put in another undersized battery because he just already had them, and it was working fine. Then he took it swimming, and what happened was the inside here all misted up, so it didn't look like water got in, but definitely condensation got into it. And ever since then, I think that's when the date stopped moving, and also then a few months after that it stopped working completely. But what I'm thinking is, I don't think there's anything majorly wrong with this watch. So this chronograph thing, if you have a look, can you see it's not centering? So look, if I press that button there, you see it looks like a second hand, but it's not. This is to do, it's like a timer, like a stopwatch. Then if I stop it, it should reset back to 12, but it's not. It's going around to about 4 or 5. But that is actually something that you can just change via the settings, but he didn't realise this. So I think to begin with, let's set that correctly. And then I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to take it apart. I think I'm going to put the case and everything into the ultrasonic cleaner because it's a little bit grimy. And I think I'm just going to see if there's any damage on the inside. I have ordered up some proper Renata batteries. I think most of the problems is because it's had an undersized battery in. I'm not sure about the changeover of the date. That could be to do with some sort of corrosion on the inside, or again, maybe there's not enough power in the smaller batteries. So I don't really know if this is going to be a major job or not. So first of all, let's sort out this chronograph thing. So apparently what we need to do is we need to put out the crown fully, so that's 2 clicks. We need to hold down the top button. There you go, did you see that spun round there? And then we need to use the bottom button to change the minutes. So hold on, what does that mean now? Let's change the bottom button. Okay, so can you see now, by pressing that it's now changing the minutes up here, but we haven't got a problem with the minutes. So let's keep that down, and let's get that back to 12. There we go. So now let's press the top button again, and now the bottom button. No, that's doing that again. Okay, I think I need to hold down the top button. Right, so let's go through this again. Let's push it in. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go out with the crown fully, and we're going to hold down this top button. Now that's spun round. Now we're going to hold down the top button again. There we go, and now that's spun round. Now it will allow me to move it by pressing the bottom button. Can you see now it's working its way round? So all I have to do is hold this down until it gets round to 12, and then hopefully that should reset it. There we go, perfect. Right, and now I presume I'll just push it in there. Now let's see if it's working. So press that and it starts going. Stop it, reset it, and it's gone back to 12. Right, so let's take this apart, get it out of the case, give everything a good clean, put the proper batteries in, and then see if we can see anything wrong on the inside and see if we can get it working properly. Now I will stress, I am not a watchmaker whatsoever. I just like watches and I like trying to fix them, even though I normally fail on most of them. There's nobody for me to copy online on this particular watch, so I'm just going to basically wing it take it apart and use my eyes to see if there's anything not quite right with it. But please don't copy what you see in this video, because there's a very real chance that I will end up breaking this watch. But the owner of it doesn't mind, because he's not going to be getting it repaired anyway, because the cost of the watch doesn't warrant the repair, even though I think it's quite a nice watch. Right, let's get the back off this. Now I have got a very cheap toolkit here. It's one of these sort of Chinese ones that you get very cheaply on eBay and Amazon. I've had it for years. And let's see what we're doing. Let's try to get the bracelet off this. Give us a bit more room to work. There we go. So that can be dropped into the ultrasonic cleaner and given a real good clean. Now let's pop some gloves on. So this back is a screw back, because I can see there's indentations around the edges of it. Wow, that's on tight. I wonder if it was on too tight that it crushed the rubber ring, the O-ring, to let in water. Oh, there we go. You can see the battery now is ready to pop out. Right, let's have a little look in here. I mean, I can't see any obvious signs of corrosion at all. I think I'll try and get this out. I'm just trying to see how the crown gets released. Well, there you go. They've been really helpful, and it says push there. Also, look. It says Seiko Time Corporation. So Pulsar, never knew that, must have Seiko movements in, or some of them. Also, I might try to. This feels like it's a glass. It feels like it's a glass crystal, not plastic. So it's going to be very hard to clean up. But you can see there's numerous cracks on that. Also, it's domed as well. It's ever so slightly domed, so it's not flat. But I might try to clean that up a little bit. Right, so let's push in where it says push, and hopefully this will come out. So we're going to push in here. Right, okay, that's not doing anything. I wonder... Hold on now. Let's push it in and do it. No, I can't get that out at all. Right, all I'm doing is, when I push that lever, nothing happens. But look, if I put it underneath there, I only need to tap it and it comes straight out. So it's underneath there. I thought that would have pushed down onto it. A little bit confusing. Well, I can still see the tiny little rubber seal there. So maybe it wasn't leaking through the crown. Okay, is this just going to pop out now? Yes, it is. Okay. Right. Well, I mean, I can't see any signs of corrosion on there whatsoever. The actual dial itself looks perfect. Do you know what I think I'm going to do? I think it might be all down to an undersized battery. There's definitely nothing wrong with the quartz side of it, because the bottom, the alarm bit, is keeping perfect time. And I can't see any visible signs of corrosion there at all. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is, I think I'm just going to give it a really good clean. We've already got that chronograph bit sorted. And I mean, you can see there all the horrible dead skin and everything on there. So I'm going to drop it into the ultrasonic cleaner, and I'm going to try to polish up the crystal a little bit. I suppose it might be just easier to change it over. But I don't know the exact, if I'm honest with you, I don't know how to measure the dome on a glass. So I know with flat ones you just do it via the diameter, and I have got a little vernier gauge to measure that. Look how bashed up it is. It's really bashed up, isn't it? I might end up getting one that's too domed. See, this is the dome one. This is absolutely tiny. Thing is, there's so much cracks in that, I'm never going to be able to get that back. I wonder how hard this is to push out. Just a little bit wary about doing the glass because I'm not used to it. When I tried it before, I did manage to get one in, but I also managed to break the first one I did, so I'm a little bit wary about doing them. Well, I think first of all I'm going to drop everything in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then we'll see what happens. So in the meantime, I am going to, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to push this in, and I'm going to set it to see if the date changes over. So let's go all the way out. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's set this to see if it changes over when I do it like this, and I can pop a new battery in, and while I'm waiting for the ultrasonic cleaner to clean everything up, I can see if the date changes over. I'm not sure if this has got like a quick set where it does it dead on 12 or whether it takes hours. Right, so it's starting to change. Oh no, so look, it didn't change, so it has got a problem. Right, so that's not battery related then, is it? Because otherwise it would have changed. Right, so we are going to have to strip this down to find out what's wrong with it. Yeah, it's not doing it, is it? Look. But yet, when I go like this, it does change over. So part of it's working, but not the bit that's linked to the hands turning. Right, this is going to be quite hard for me because there's so many things to remove, and these here are very close. The hands are very close to the actual dial itself. Well, do you know what? I suppose it's a good one to practice on, because if I break it, the owner's not bothered at all because it was only going to be scrapped. So. Yeah, let's see what happens with it. Right, so I've got a little bag over the dial here. Let's start with the big hands because they should be the easiest. Right, they came off nice and easy. I've got to try to get rid of all these. Right, that one was alright. I think I scraped the dial a little bit there. Try to be a bit more gentle. Right, this is the one that I'm worried about, getting underneath that bottom one. Oh, there you go, they came off. Excellent. Right, okay, so that's that bit. So now I have to try to get the dial off. I'm trying to have a look for some sort of dial feet around the edges. Can't see any. I wonder if it's just a pressure fit. Yeah, look, there you go. You can see a tiny little cutout here. So that's that one. And I presume, yeah, there's one here as well. There you go. Oh, okay, so that's popped off now, so I can just leave that as it is. And it does look like that was ever so slightly, that does look a little bit corroded, doesn't it? Or a bit oiled up, I'm not too sure. Looks like there's fingerprints and stuff on it. Right, okay, so we have to find out now why it's not changing over when we turn this. Now, do I have to strip it all down, I wonder? Or can I just get to this side here? Can't see any screws to undo anything. Looks like there's some kind of regulators here and here, but I'm not sure what they're before. So we've got one here and one here, and there's a little arrow going either way, but it doesn't say plus or minus or anything. It just looks like two triangles. Don't really know what that's about. Oh, okay, right, so hold on. Turn that. I can see that there's a white, have a look here, there's a white gear turning here. I wonder if this is the thing that's supposed to then turn this. Maybe one of the teeth is slightly bigger. See if we can see anything. There you go. That's the bigger tooth. Do you see there? That tooth's bigger than all the others. So that should be the one that changes it, but it's just skipping over it. So now, why is this not allowing? Why is this not changing? Is that tooth broken, or? Let's go back. Yeah, so it goes, it pushes it back. Right, it's bringing it forward now. Did you see that? I'm looking at this tooth here. This tooth is bigger than all the others. So let me get rid of it. There you go. It didn't push it back, did it? Right, so you can see all these are small teeth. So obviously once every 24 hours this comes along and moves it. But it didn't move it there. So right now we're on 4. If you look at the crown, we're on 4. So let's go back. No, I'm not grabbing that at all. Right, so it's not moving it there. Let's move it round to 5. No, it's not really grabbing it properly. It's partially grabbing it. I wonder how I get this off. I need to look really closely and see what's happening. I think it's going over. I think the lever is going over or under the actual date root wheel. Yeah, it's going under. So why, I wonder, is this sticking up more than it should be? Right, and look, if I put the lever on it and then go to turn it via the crown, you can see it goes and gives. So it looks like it's designed to do that, not to get broken. I don't think I'm going to be able to fix this. I think it might be to do with wear, because everything looks like it's kind of aligned okay. The problem I've got is if I strip this down here, because I don't even know how it goes together, I don't think I'm going to be able to get it back again. What I am wondering is, because it looks like that gives when I pull this out, I'm wondering if it is on some kind of little spring or something. Because this whole wheel turns here, so when I go all the way out, the whole wheel, you can see the white thing there. You can see that this thing's moving round, and in a minute you'll see the teeth go past here. There you go, the big one, yeah? So I suppose if it was only made out of plastic, there's a chance that that tooth could have worn. I mean, I don't know even know if you would be able to get a spare one. But saying that, how am I going to get this front bit off when we've got so many, you know, we've got the chronograph doing all those different things? Not too sure, unless I try to remove it all from this side and see what happens. Maybe I could do, because really now, if it's not working, if the date thing's not working, it's like a faulty watch, isn't it? So I don't think it's not really worth. It's worth even less now. So I think for the learning experience, let's take it apart and see what's happening with it. Now I'm sure there's a way you can do this from the calendar side, but I can't see it, so I'm just going to work like this. I'm going to start from the back here. Okay, that's in quite securely. Right, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to drop everything else into the ultrasonic cleaner. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the ultrasonic cleaner to heat up to 50 degrees C, and what I've done is I've just written down the movement number here, 7062A, this number in the middle. I just want to see how much these movements do cost and if spares are available or not. Okay, luckily I looked online to begin with and I have found a PDF with an exploded drawer in it, and it looks like I can take it apart from the other side. Also, the good news is you can buy a spare one of them. There's one on eBay for I think it's £4.99 plus £1.99 postage. So £7, which would be worth spending to get it working. Now you can get the whole new movement itself, but they're quite expensive. They're ranging from £43, that's from a German seller, to 50 something pounds, so it's quite expensive. Now luckily when I seen that, I didn't put this in the ultrasonic cleaner, because this part here is actually the sounder for the alarm built into this back here. So let's take this off and let's try to have a look this side, because apparently we can just undo those two screws and then it will come off. The only problem is they look like they're tiny little white screws. I'm worried that they're just gonna break. Let's see if they come undone or not. Let's get my gloves back on. So yeah, that's the item number. It's called a date driving wheel 0802580. So it's interesting. So in this instance here, it looks like Pulsar, the parts seem to be more expensive than the actual watch itself, because Pulsar watches are quite cheap. Yet if this has got a Seiko movement, then the Seiko movements are a little bit more expensive. Right, do you know what? Maybe that's what these arrows mean. I just need to move it to this other location here. Let's see. Okay, and there. Now shall we see if that lifts up? Yes, there we go. The whole thing's lifting up. Excellent. There we go. Perfect. Right, now I have access to this little thing here. And this is what I can actually buy. I can buy this replacement one. Now I wonder, has it just worn down over the age, or has this thing been pushed in a bit? I wonder if I could ease it out a little bit. Would it start working then? Do you know what I mean? Let's have a look at the rest of it just to make sure. See if it looks okay. Yeah, that all looks fine. They don't look worn down, do they? I'm wondering if possibly that has worn down over the years. Doesn't really give me much option to kind of lift that part out. It does look like slightly off to one side, but I don't know whether it's supposed to be like that or not. So if you have a look at it, it looks like it's kind of more over this way than that way. So maybe it has worn down. Right, now worryingly, I've just been kind of mucking about with it, and now when I plug it, take it all the way out, it's not doing anything, so it's like it's not gripping anymore. I think what I should do is, I think maybe I should take this apart and clean it, because on that PDF it does show where you can oil it, and also I can see like there's kind of marks here. If you look at this bit here, you can see where this part here used to be sat. It's kind of dirty, so that might also be affecting it ever so slightly if there's more friction. I think I'm going to take these parts out and I'm going to clean them with IPA. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to be cleaning up this side here, because remember, this is a chronograph, so there's an awful lot of dials on here, and for me, who's got very little experience in this, it's hard enough just getting one dial working, not alone 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's going to be a load of gears the other side, and although it would be interesting for me to look at, it's not really my watch to, I mean, look, it doesn't matter if I break it, but I don't want to intentionally break it. And if I take apart the other side, although I would love to see all the gears, I don't rate my chances of getting it back together. Even though there is a PDF showing it, it's going to be very hard. But what I am thinking is I might actually buy myself one off eBay, like a chronograph, to see it'd be quite interesting to take it all apart just to see how it all goes together. But for this one here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean these gears down here, and I'm going to see if there's anything I can do with this. So I'm going to put it back together, and if it doesn't work, yes, I can buy a spare one, or I wonder if there's a way I could kind of, I don't know, like add a little bit of plastic weld or something to it just to make it a little bit bigger. If I could just make that a fraction of a millimetre bigger. Even I wonder if I could just get the, I wonder if I could melt it ever so slightly just to get a point back on it. But by cleaning it up, that might be enough, especially by just bending this out a little bit. It might be enough to actually cause it to go round, because it was half working but not fully working. Right, so the ultrasonic cleaner is now up to temperature, so let's turn it on. Let me just show you that. Got it at 50 degrees C. I'm going to put it on for 25 minutes. And that is all the parts inside waiting to be cleaned. So let's turn it on. So I'll come back to that when it's done. Right, so the reason the ultrasonic cleaner had like pink liquid in it is because it's got deionized water, and as well as that, it's got like a jewellery cleaner in it. So hopefully it will clean it up. Right, I'm going to just give these little components here a bit of a clean using IPA, so that's 99.9% alcohol. Just giving that a tiny little squeeze with the tweezers just to see if it's made it into more of a point. And I think it has. So I'm just going to let this dry off now, put it back together and see if it makes any difference or not. Right, so it looks like it's all dried off now, so I'm going to try to attempt to put it back together and also put a tiny little bit of oil in the places that it recommends. Now I haven't got any of the proper Mobius stuff, but I have got just this Anchor watch oil, which is going to be better than nothing. Well, hopefully it is. So I'm going to be copying the PDF, you can see it's here, and if you're interested, that's the website there, watchguy.co.uk, and you can see there, technical Seiko 7062A. It's really interesting. Now let me just quickly show you how all the other bits go together. So can you see all these bits here? Yeah, so that's why I really don't want to get involved in all that. And secondly, they're all going to have to be oiled properly. So the way I look at it is that maybe the original oil is still okay. So it's probably better to leave it if it's working than me mess around with it. Let's try and get this back together. Right, I forgot to put the date wheel on, so the date wheel has to be on before I put this thing in because it keeps it in place. Let's undo this again. Right, okay, that's that. Now let's put the oil in. Right, so I've got my tiny little dropper and I'm just going to tap it in the oil. Now first of all, it says to oil in here. I'm not actually sure if anything came off there. Okay, that's it. Don't really get why that one there needs doing. Looks like it's just going to go on that coil. Right, let's see now if it changes over. So we're going to go to one out. Right, let's work that around a little bit. Oh, okay, so that's why. Oh, look, it needs oiling in there. I understand now. Because it's moving up and down. Right, okay. Right, that's working nice. And it's clicking around one at a time. Right, now let's do the hour and see if it's. We now need to concentrate on this gear here and see when the big one comes around whether it's enough to knock it around or not. Hey, it kicked it through. Right, let's see if it will go back. Yeah. Right, so it's gone that way. Yeah, it's definitely kicked it through. Here it comes. Right, so we're on the 16th now. I'm just going to go around one more revolution. If you look here, 16 by the crown, stem. Yeah, there we go, 17. So it looks like it's working. Excellent. And if not, it would be a relatively easy job to change that over. But we'll see now. Maybe a tiny bit of oiling's helped it. The fact we've cleaned it with IPA, so there might be a little bit less resistance if there was a bit of gummed up oil. And also I squeezed it with the pliers to make it ever so slightly longer than I did before. Yeah, that appears to be changing. Really slowly. Yeah, it's definitely clicking it round. Right, okay, I'm going to see if my ultrasonic cleaner is done, and then we can put a new battery in this and try to get the hands and the dial and everything back on. Right, okay, check out how clean it's come out. Look at that. Sparkling again. All that horrible dead skin gone. It's done a real good job of it. Right, okay, let's try and get the dial back on here and then all the hands and everything. So that should be quite a bit of fun. Right, so I suppose I have to do, how is this going to work now? Well, the alarm can be changed and the minute can be changed. So all I have to do is get the seconds lined up with the main hands going round. So let's pull it all the way out and do it so the date is just about to change, and that can be 12 o'clock. Right, okay, so it's about to move now. So let's have that at our 12 o'clock. Right, so we've got our hands here. Now I know which is the right way round, because you can see, if you look at the hole, you can see there's a bit sticking down. So that bit needs to go down. Right, now all that's happened there is I've just knocked the dial away from the movement. Do you know what? I'm going to put it on this. I'm going to find it a lot easier. Right, I'm just going to move the hour hand out of the way a minute so I can get the other hand on. Right, this hand looks very bent. I must have bent it when I took it off, so I need to try and bend it back into shape. You're wondering what this green stuff is? It's this stuff here. And I really like it because I think it's made for like cleaning dials and stuff, but I like it because I can use it instead of using the tweezers, because I'm not very good at the tweezers. Right, that looks pretty aligned. Right, this minute hand is off here, but I don't think it matters because I think I can change that. As long as the hour and the minute hand looks good here. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to get some canned air now, and I'm just going to blow out in here just in case there's any droplets of water left in it. Right, hopefully that'll do. So now I have to take this crown out, which is going to be a little bit hard now. Hopefully it will come out as easy as it did before. There we go, lovely. Put that there. And there. Oh look, they're the things for the alarm. Can you see these two contacts here? And they must go between the outer and the inner ones here. Looks really worn, doesn't it? Pretty sure I tested the alarm and it was working before. Right, okay. So that is it. Let's see if the date's changing. Yes. Excellent, and see if the hands are moving around without hitting each other. They are. Right, let's pop a battery in and see if we have any success. So the one I'm putting in is a Renata and it's at 399. I believe that's it. Excellent, it started to tick. Yeah, and it's ticking every second, and it's pretty well lined up. It's very small, so it's hard to see. Well, let's see if the chronograph thing works. So, okay, excellent. That's going round. Stop it. Reset. Let's see where it resets. Yeah, that looks pretty much spot on. Right, let me try to see if I can adjust that minute hand. So let's hold this down. Oh no, what was it now? I have to pull this out twice, I think. Hold this down. There we go. Oh, there we go. It's reset itself to. That's reset itself to 0. And now let's see. Every time I press that, it goes round. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so I'm just matching up different ones, and I think I found one. So this one here is the original. This one, and this one here looks to be the same as it. So that's what I'll use. Seems a good fit. I'm just going to grease that up a little bit. Right, let me just nip it up. There you go. Not going to do it up as tight as it was before because I think it was on too tight. Right, well, the minute hand's definitely moving round. You can see on the main face, but also on the little dial up here as well. Everything looks like it's behaving itself properly at the moment. The alarm's keeping good time. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to polish up this crystal a little bit, just to try to get rid of some of the scratches from it. So what I've got is I've got this kind of like diamond paste in all different grades, and I'm just going to be using some of this on it. Right, normally you should be using this with like a tool, you know, a buffing wheel, but I'm just going to do it by hand because I'm only just going to try to get rid of some of the surface ones, and also just around the edge of this the bezel as well is quite scratched up. Okay, that has come out. Really nice. The glass is still really badly scratched, but overall, I think the watch is looking nice. So it's come out nice and shiny now. There's still a lot of scratches on it, but remember, the bracelet's full of scratches anyway, so there's no point in having this immaculate if this is full of scratches here. So, yeah, I'm pleasantly pleased with how that's come out, and also it looks like the date is starting to change. You can see now it's kind of the 30s moving away. I'm going to look online about the alarm to find out what's happening with that. So I'm going to do the school run now, and then hopefully when I come back I'm hoping that that date has now changed over to the 31st, and hopefully it will keep ticking. Well, happy with that. Right, okay, about an hour 10 minutes has gone, and something's not right here. The hour hand has stopped. Not quite sure if the minute hand has stopped or not, and also look, it hasn't gone through. So it's like when it starts to go through, there's extra resistance, and then it kind of becomes weak. There, did you see that flick back there? Look, we've got a problem now with that hour hand not moving again. But why is it going forward and back? Look, surely if it was just loose, it would just spin on its axis. There you go. Yeah, look, oh, it can't get past that bit. Right, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Let's bring it right away back here. So we're fine here, here, and now. It won't go past that bit. So is that the resistance caused by the date change, I wonder? Or is there some other issue? I think what we'll have to do is, I think we'll have to take it apart again, and I think we'll have to pop the hands back on it. So I'm happy with everything else. The alarm, second, and the stopwatch all seems to be working fine. Oh, there we go, because it's in. So what I can do is I can take it all off, and then I can just put the minute hand and the hour hand back on, and we'll see then what happens when we've got it apart to see why it's not liking this bit here. I don't believe that that's just the hour hand. I believe there's something causing that. You know, I don't think it's a case that it's just not on properly. Right, let's take it apart yet again. Let's get some gloves on. I'm having trouble getting the crown back in, and now the dial's come away. Let's knock one of the hands off. Why is this not going back in? Well, everything's falling off now. Strange how the crown's not going in now. Yeah, I cannot get this crown in, so it's all going to need to come apart. Right, I think what I'm going to do is... It's really weird that that's not coming, that's not going in now. No, still not going in. So I must have bent something. Right, I think what would be the best thing is to take it apart completely, just to... I don't know, really, realistically now this watch is not going to be working. I'm going to take it apart completely, and I'm going to clean everything with IPA, and then try to put it back together, oil in the relevant bits, and see if it's possible to put it back again, just to see. I mean, either way it's going to be interesting to see the inside of it. Right, so I'm just going to be fast forwarding through all of this. I don't think I've ever seen so many gears in such a small space. I really don't know how I'm going to do this, but the good news is, look, there's definitely corrosion on here. Can you see the green stuff? So maybe there is corrosion inside which is stopping, you know, causing friction, which is stopping it from working smoothly. Right, well, at least I'm recording it, but I don't think I'm going to know which wheel goes where. But I'll do my best. Just take them out one at a time. Wow, I think I can safely say that this is not going to go back together. Look how complicated it is. It's amazing. Oh look, there you go, they're the little motors. Can you see there in the middle? The middle of them. So these spin round in the middle here to make the watch work. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is just give everything a really good clean. Look at the amount of parts in this. So, yeah, right now I do not feel confident whatsoever. There's just too many gears too close to each other, which obviously there's too much things going on the chronograph, isn't there? There's loads of things going on, so you would expect this amount of gears. So I'm going to clean everything with IPA and see what happens. See what happens, see if it can, I don't know. When I say clean everything, I'm not going to clean the coils. But I'm going to clean all the gears and everything. And all these contacts. Well, either way, I'm going to have fun with it. So that is it all cleaned up. So now I'm going to open up the little laptop again, get the PDF and see if I can work out what goes where. The problem I've got is a lot of these look really similar and there's loads of them. But still, I've got to give it a go. So it might take me 1 hour, it might take me 5 hours, I might be successful, I might not be. I really don't know. What I have noticed is there is a tiny little bit left over here that's broken off from somewhere. Now I don't know where that belongs to, maybe it will become apparent as I go through it, or maybe it won't actually be that important, I don't know. Let's get a move on. It shows me all the oil points here. Now it does have Mobius, different types, A and F. I haven't got different types of oil, so I'm just going to be using the same one for all of them. gears in. I'm not sure if they're in the right place or not. They feel like they are, but I don't really know because so many of them are very similar to each other. So now I've got to do the rest of the jigsaw. Right, okay, I've got to take this plate off again because this little friction plate needs to go underneath that one. Right, okay, I've got to take this plate off again because this little friction plate needs to go underneath. News is the stem went straight in and it's clicking again, so I can feel that that's moving. You can see it there, and then let's go in one, and that's working there as well. Okay, it appears to be working. So when I say working, the movement's working. I don't know whether the actual quartz side of it's working or not. So let's pop it back together and see what happens. Okay, so let's put the battery in and let's see if it ticks again after I've taken it all apart. No, it's not ticking. Ah, do you know what? I thought that might have worked. Well, it all went back together okay. Let's see if anything else works on it. Oh, there you go, that wasn't pushed in. Completely dead. Whoa. Okay, well that works. Yeah, that works. But it doesn't center itself again. Oh yes it does, look. But it's getting stuck. Right now, why is it all getting stuck? So I must have something misaligned. Also, that should sweep round quicker than that. Oh well, that is a shame. There's not really much I can do with it because I thought I put it together perfectly. So the very fact that I didn't, I don't know what to do to fix it. Yeah, date's changing over. I don't know whether to take it any further. I don't know whether to take it apart again to see. Thing is though, I really don't know. Maybe I've got some of the gears, some of the wheels mixed up with other ones, not too sure. No, okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep looking at it just to see if I find anything. There's no point in filming anymore because you've already seen me take it apart and put it back together. If I find out what the problem is, I will let you know. But if I do take it apart again, all I'm going to be doing is putting it back together again. Maybe something's been misaligned or something. But I'm going to keep looking at it for the time being. Right, I did get myself one of these a while back. It's like a quartz tester. So if I put it on here and do the sensor, you can hear that it is actually ticking. It's just that there's nothing happening on this second hand. But if I put it onto this one, this will actually spin all the wheels round. So watch this now. So I mean the second hand's moving, not the second hand, sorry, the stopwatch hand's moving very freely there, isn't it? But the second hand's not moving at all. I wonder whether I've got it on too loose. Yeah, so that's all okay. So it looks like it's the main timekeeping of the watch that's not working. So I think that alarm one at the bottom is going to be working fine. Well, at least I've got something to go on now, because what I can do is I can just look at the gears around this second hand and also the minute and the hour hand as well, and then maybe I can find out, maybe it will become obvious then, maybe one of the wheels is not aligned properly. Right, I really cannot find what's wrong with this. I've just checked the coils now, because what I thought is, maybe when I was doing it up, I mean, I'm not used to using these tiny screwdrivers, and I have slipped a couple of times. I thought I might have kind of scraped it and broke the coils. But watch this, if I zoom out, well actually look to begin with, you can see now that each coil has two contacts with a tiny bit of glue on. So I think the little bit of glue here is what keeps the, let's just take this off 1 second. There. The little bit of glue here, I believe, is what keeps the tiny bit of wire on from here, so it's kind of glued on there. But if you look, you see there's two sides to it, this side and that side. And if I now zoom out and use my multimeter, they're all testing okay as far as a reading is concerned. So look, I've just gone on to ohms, and if I go onto this first one here, which is a small one, it reads, I think it was 2.1, yeah, 2.1. And now the larger ones read about 2.4, that's kilo ohms. This one's going to be about 2.4 because it's a similar size. Might be a little bit bigger. There you go, 2.4. No, I think it's the same size. And this small one here will be 2.1 because it's the same size as the smaller one. So it all makes sense that way. I really don't know what I've done wrong here. I'm looking at these gears here, and to me, or wheels, and to me, they all look to be okay. But obviously they're not. The strange thing is, you know the little clock down the bottom, the alarm part, that's still working fine now. So, just like at the beginning, that's working fine, but yet now the stopwatch is not working, and also the time and the seconds are not working. The seconds were working fine before I started messing with it. and now they're not working at all, so it's strange. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the gears out and I'm going to double check them all again. Right, okay, I've been watching back the video and I'm confident now that this is how it was originally. Now, I don't know if the time I had it before it was like this or not. I can't remember because so many of the gears are so similar to each other, but I'm starting to understand it. So this one here, this coil here, this little motor is the one that feeds the actual timekeeping, so the hours and the minutes. This one here is the one that feeds the alarm down the bottom. This one here is the one that feeds the stopwatch, so it goes from there to here. And this one at the bottom is the one that feeds the minute of the stopwatch. So the minute of the stopwatch and, yeah, that's right, the minute of the stopwatch and the seconds of the stopwatch are not actually linked via any gears. They must all be done via the actual electronics in this little circuit board here. So now I'm going to put the rest of it back together and we'll see what happens. Right, success, it's ticking again. I haven't gone through all the features yet. There seems to be a bit of a problem with the stopwatch, but it's definitely ticking, which is something. So I'm going to put it back in the case and then see exactly what it can and can't do. Listen to that, the alarm works. The buzzer at the back actually works. Amazing. Okay, so it's the next day now and I am finished and I am happy with the end result, apart from the fact that it is no longer a chronograph because we no longer have the second hand because I broke it. But apart from that, the second hand for the stopwatch, but apart from that, it is actually all working fine. So, yeah, it's a real shame that I ended up breaking that, but what happened is I took this apart so many times. I had these hands off maybe, it could have been up on 10 times, and you see every single time you take the hands off and on again, you risk breaking them, especially when you're me. So, yeah, unfortunate, but the thing is, it's still a watch, and it's a working watch now, and beforehand it wasn't a working watch, so to me, it's still successful, because now it tells the time, while before it didn't. And as well as that, the day has changed over as well. I did it last night, and it has changed over to the new day. So I will set everything now in a minute. So now the stopwatch does work, it just hasn't got a second hand, so if I hit it now, you think that's nothing is happening, but actually the minute section up the top will start counting round, and it does work. It counts round and it keeps on counting round. So you would be able to time something up to 1 hour, but you won't be able to time the seconds in that. But you'll see now, I'll just leave that running, you'll see that after a couple of minutes, after I've done all my waffling, that it will be working its way round. The alarm works, you can see that the second hand is moving around there. So basically, to make the watch perfect, you would need a new crystal, because this is really scratched up. You would need a new center second hand wheel thing, you know, for the stopwatch. And unfortunately, you would also need a new second hand as well, because what's happened is it's broken where the pivot goes into the hand. So pretend this is the hand now, wrap around like this, and pretend my thumb is the actual second hand ticking round. It's actually snapped off here. So this bit is left in here. So, I mean, possibly you might be able to get a tiny drill to drill it out, but I'm not going to have a lathe or anything to do that with. And if I was to do it with a hand drill, well, you know what's going to happen. It's just going to muck that up completely, and then it's not going to sit on there. It'll be just loose. And as well as that, if you wanted it perfect, you would also have to change the day wheel as well. The little thing that turns, the little white thing, where I squeezed out the plastic to make it a little bit longer, so it gripped the date wheel as it was turning round. I mean, all I've done is got tweezers and basically kind of done that to the plastic to form it into a bit of a better point, but that's going to wear down really quick. So, I mean, it would need quite a bit of work to bring it up to like new again. But the thing is, right now, it is working as a watch. I'll set all the time in a minute. And that's the main thing. Beforehand, it was just thrown in the drawer, and now it is working. So although it's not ideal, for me, I think it would probably be better to have the dates working than the stopwatch. So I'm going to take it as a success. And the main thing is that I was really impressed, and I'm really happy that I took apart the insides and got it back together. And I'm really impressed with how the chronograph works. It's amazing. So there's basically 4 different motors in this thing doing various different things. And it's made me appreciate how really cheap watches are. I mean, the inside of this I think is amazing. And yet I think when this was new it probably cost about 70 or 80 pounds, and you can still get them relatively cheap. You can get a lot of chronographs very cheaply on eBay. So yeah, I'm so happy that it actually didn't work, because originally, you know, you've seen I fixed a date, but then the watch was stopping, and that was always the problem with it. Not sure why it was stopping. There was a little bit of corrosion on the inside, and maybe that tiny bit of corrosion causes extra resistance, which then causes the watch to stop. Or it could be a case of it could be the oils have possibly dried up or gummed up or something, which was slowing it down. So maybe as it went to do the date change, a little bit of extra friction there would be enough to make the watch stop. Not too sure, but it's definitely ticking away nicely now, on both hands as well, because beforehand the alarm hand was okay, but this is not. I haven't set this yet. I'm going to set it in the video now to show you it all working, and also the alarm works as well. So yeah, I'm happy with it. In hindsight now, what would I have done differently? Well, the things I would have done differently, and I was told this I've been told this before, and I was also told it recently by Mike from My Retro Watches, is to take a picture on every single step of the way. But I sort of thought, because I'm filming, it would be okay, but it wasn't okay. And I'll tell you the big problem I had. The white gears were in different locations, so the white gears looked almost identical, but the thing is they're not going to be identical. They might have a few more teeth or a few less teeth. So what happened was, when the stopwatch was working, every time I reset it, it would either go to 20, 40 or 0. So it was really strange, like it would reset to 20, and then I'd have to start it, stop it again, and it would reset to 12 up here, 0. And then when I start it and stop it, it would go round to here. So it would only ever go 20, 40 or 60, which was really strange. And that's because of the teeth. The teeth on the gear must have been, on the wheels, must have been different. So if I had taken detail pictures, and I mean real close up, because all these white wheels look to be the same size, the only difference is on top of them the mouldings are slightly different. So one might have kind of like a cross on it, one might have dots on it, but they all look so similar. And on my video, all I was doing was picking them off, showing them to the camera, in other words, sort of showing that, yeah, there's a wheel on top and a separate gear on the bottom, and putting them onto one side. What I should have done is pick them up and brought them right up to see the design of it. And that's why I had so many problems, because it was kind of guesswork trying to put it back, you know, which one went where. And then I was trying to refer to the PDF as well, but it's kind of confusing when you're looking at a 2D image. For me it's confusing anyway, but then again, I'm not a watchmaker, am I? But yeah, so really glad I took this apart, and my appreciation for chronographs has gone up hugely. I wouldn't mind getting one myself, or I'll tell you what, I'd love to see the inside of an automatic chronograph, because this has 4 motors in, so I'd love to see how an automatic chronograph works, to see how it kind of splits it up between all the different dials. I find that absolutely fascinating. So let's set this now. You can see that that stopwatch there is working its way around, so I've been waffling for whatever that is, 2 or 3 minutes. So now watch this. If I stop it and then hit this one, you can see it's reset itself. Right, now to do the alarm, well, I'll tell you what, let's set the time and then we'll do the alarm. So let me bring it down here so I can see what I'm doing, and I'll zoom in. Right, so first of all, let's do the alarm time. So take my watch off and we'll set it to this watch here. Actually, I'll just wait until the second hand goes round to the top. Right, so first of all, let's set the alarm, the time down here. So we're going to hold this one in. Right, and now let's change the dates. Today's the 4th, so I'm going to put this to the 3rd, and then I'm going to wind it on using the actual hour hands itself. So there you go, I'm winding it around now, and this will show you that the date is actually moving. There you go, so that's moved around now. Right, so let's just let that catch up with this. Then I'll show you the alarm working. Okay, that's that. Now, if I want to set the alarm, so let's say I set the alarm for a minute time, what I'm going to do is go out just once, and then let's move this along just once, and then push it in. And then in 1 minute, that alarm should start going. So let me, but you can obviously change that alarm to any time within a 12-hour period. Here we go. Right, let's stop that, and then to get this to tell the time again, so now that's going to go off every day at that time, so I can unplug it if I don't want it to go off, and then push this all the way around. Then it'll go all the way around, and it should go back to the correct time again. There we go. So that is it. So now that will just keep ticking along at the same rates as this one here. So that is it for this video. I'm really happy with how it's come out, and I know the owner of it will be pleased, even though obviously if he took it to a watchmaker he would be gutted that it's come back broken. But the thing is, it's me, and he fully understood that, so now he will be happy that just the watch works as the watch should work. Let's do a quick wrist shot. This one's a little bit big for me, but there you go, that's what it looks like there. Not a bad looking watch, and it's nice that it's got a Seiko inside, but yet you're not paying the price. I'm not saying Seiko's expensive, but Pulsar's even cheaper again. So yeah, pretty good. So that is it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye now.